15 years because their parents haven't wasted it on stuff that's going to end up in the bin anyway.
And they forgot about.
Yeah, exactly. And, I had one friend who turned up, she's got 2 daughters, with like 5 bags of gifts that she had bought over the years when they were younger, that had never even been opened.
Wow. I have a mother-in-law
Never
like
even
that.
been opened.
She has gifts throughout the house that she buys so much stuff in advance that sometimes when she's ready to give it to you, she actually forgot where it's at.
Yeah. And some of it, she gave her kids, but she'd given her so much, and they got presents off everyone else that they had 2 and 3 of them. And they never did anything about it.
So even though you spent all this money, you really have nothing of value.
Yes, and I think that's it again. It's just understanding that shopping isn't the problem. I'm a big believer in this. It's just about being conscious of how you're allocating the money you've got and saying, just some of it. Some of it needs to go into stuff that's going up in value, not down. And parking your money in a bank account when you understand the time value of money, like if someone offered you $1,000 today or $1,000 5 years from now, you'd take the $1,000 today, right? Because 5 years from now, inflation's going to kick in and, it's not going to have the buying power that it used to. But that's the same thing when you're parking it in a bank account, it's not going to work. But we have to start small and just start getting on top of our spending and make sure we're putting that money aside so that we can become investors. And I think we need to step in, one of the big things I'm really big on is stepping into that identity of seeing your life as an investment. Every choice you make, you're either wasting time or investing time. So you're either spending it doing something that brings you great joy or something, that really, you're vegged out in front of the TV and it's meaningless for you because you're exhausted. And I think as women, one of the other things, I like people to do is have delicious daily habits. So things, I call it lifestyle by design and now wealth by design, that you need to have a life that brings you joy where you allocate the same as your money, you allocate the time you have in things that are going to bring your life goals forward. So whether that's, time with your children, you don't want to have time with your children where you're so stressed out and it's not quality time. And sometimes we need to give ourselves some things just for us that bring us joy. So we don't wake up that day and go, how did I get here? I've lived my life for everyone else except me and I'm not happy. And there's a lot of women in their 40s and stuff getting there, unfortunately, because they've been running around trying to make everyone else happy instead of recognising that it's their life as well. So, yes, make people happy, profit everyone you meet, but don't leave yourself out of the equation because then you're undervaluing you and your life. And it matters because you only get one shot at it.
Like I used to say, a lot of people, especially with women, it may work for men, but really I've always found things that fit into my life, not make my life try to fit into something else. It does work for men because my husband over the last 20-something years haven't blinked an eye. He gets up, he goes to work. We had children, he gets up and go to work. Our kids are grown, he gets up and go to work.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed too much in his daily routine. And I think for women, we need to find things that fit into our life. And, when I worked from home, that was one of my decisions. It was like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to spend my time. And I wanted to basically spend my time with my kids because, they grow so fast. Now they're both in their 20s.
Yep.
And my youngest one just got married and him and his wife is expecting their first child. And it's
wow.
funny. Yes. I'm like, I'm going to be a grandma. And I'm already shopping. Every time I go by a cute little booty, my husband's like, get away from the booties.
I'll be telling you to go and, put some money away in a trust or some shares.
Believe it or not, we've already started saving for her because we know it's going to be a girl, and we already calling her by her name, Naomi. And we've already started and we actually started with just a change jar. We was like, we're going to just start sewing change. My son and his wife did. And it's funny because my son said, Mom, she's going to be born and she's going to have more money in her pocket than we are.
Yeah.
But
it's a really It's important. I think that's awesome. Congratulations. You're going to be a sexy grandma.
Oh, yes, I am. Because, women, as we get older, we always get better. But
Oh, absolutely. We're like wine.
yes, that's what I used to say. We
with
get
age.
better with time. But when my kids was younger, I really made a point of making sure that one of us, because my husband, his job is long hours, and one of us was always accessible to after school activities and things. So everything I did, it was about fit into my life. And I noticed sometimes, even with some of my friends, they're so busy with trying to build their careers and different things that everything, the husband, the kids, everything is trying to fit around this career or this time. And I just think that women, we can be as successful, but I know that our success looks different. It just, maybe I necessarily can't say I was at a company for 20 something years, but did I make great money? Yes. Was I happy? Did I help a lot of people? And in every experience took me to the next experience. I mean, to this day, I would tell anyone, I don't think I would ever have created Launch Over 40 and be as, really an advocate as much as I am for women if I didn't go through some of those experiences before. So I think sometimes with us, because we do change or we do have to make that left turn, that sometimes we see it as a waste of time or, oh, I wish I would have got here faster. But for us, we kind of build ourselves. It's like a little block. Yeah. Oh, I got this experience. Oh, wow. Now that's opened a door for me for here. Oh, I didn't know this existed. Now I know the next thing. That's just how we are as females. And just because it looks different doesn't mean that it's worse. Truthfully, I'm only a female. I'm surrounded by testosterone with a husband and 2 sons. I am so glad I'm a woman.
Yeah,
I love my sons.
But I must admit, I totally agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't have created Financially Fabulous. I mean, when I became a single mum, freak, I was told I could never get pregnant, never have kids. And I actually find out I'm pregnant when I'm 6 months pregnant.
Wow.
Because it was just not even in the realm. And, her dad sees her, but he's certainly not involved financially at all. And I made a decision that I wanted exactly to spend time and that I wanted to be the best mum I could be. And so I designed my life around my priorities, which was that, I wanted her to be, I wanted to be an at-home mum, but I still needed to bring in money, obviously, because there's only me. So, so I had my global coaching business. So I would work from home, online. I had clients all around the world, and it was fabulous. Clients winning awards, and then we went overseas. I promised I'd take her to Disneyland for her 5th birthday. So we went across to America and stayed there for a year and launched a business and stuff. But if I hadn't learnt lessons from the GFC that, wiped me and nearly sent me bankrupt, that if I had known more and just had the right ownership structures and things in place, I wouldn't have put everything else at risk. And I went, how, when I'm a smart woman, did I fall into that trap? And I went, because I didn't know. I wasn't educated. So I decided, as I said, to, learn from my own mistakes and then use that to create Financially Fabulous and help other women not make the same mistakes and rebuild. But if I wasn't a single mum and I wasn't so passionate about changing it so that my daughter walks into a world that's better because I've been here and because we've all been here,
right?
Then, I would have never gone the journey to go back and try and do an MBA as a, over 40 and, launch a business and all of that. But when you're really committed, it's wonderful. It's joyful. Yes, it's long hours and it's stress. And, my daughter's watched me go through all of that and supported me along the way. And, but I've still been, home with her while we've been doing it. She had her first little business when she was 6 years old.
What was her business?
It was called Book Bracelets. And what they were was beads strung on an elastic thing with charms that were bookmarks that you could use for a beautiful diary or something. And we did them because at the time a lot of my clients were real estate agents. So we ordered charms with real estate signs and stuff and sold them to real estate agents for their diaries and stuff. And then she did some other ones and she wanted to go to the markets. And so I took her to the markets and she worked out, so it was totally her business. So she worked out if she wore her beautiful fairy dress, I would just sit back. she would get more sales. More people would come up to her. And she did really well out of that business. Like, she was making a couple of $100 a week usually when we went to the markets. And that's at age 6 and 7. And I stopped her when I decided to do my MBA because I didn't have time to take her to the markets. But we're sitting there now and, you know, she likes everything IT, a bit like me, and stationery. And it's like, okay, well, what do you know that would help someone else in the world that would be willing to pay for it? You know, what are your skills? And we're going through them and looking at, okay, well, how could you create some money for you and add value, you know? So at the moment we're toying at the idea that she might teach Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Because she loves Instagram, you know, and to businesses who want Instagram and can't do that because she's awesome at it. So, and she loves doing it, and it is no biggie, you know, like she loves it. So, you know, I think it's definitely, I think we underestimate the power of entrepreneurship and the power of what powers we've got. You know, I've said, well, you could, you know, start up a little club with other kids, teaching them business and money and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot you can do when you start looking at the world from a position of abundance rather than lack. You start recognizing that opportunities are everywhere. It's more about evaluating which are the right ones for you,
I
rather than saying they're not there.
I really agree with that. I think that there's a lot that we can do. We come with such potential, but unfortunately, a lot of us die with it, and we never used it. Yeah.
And that's, you know, like Financially Fabulous is about having a fabulous life and playing flat out and doing the things you love and taking care of the money along the way. You know, so, you know, because I was a coach, you know, and a business coach and life coach, I'm very into the goals and getting at what do you love? What if you had a blank sheet of paper, which you do when you're born, you know, you're born with this blank sheet, what would a fabulous life look like?
And we know it now. I mean, everyone knows what it takes for them to be happy and content. A friend of mine said to me the other day that, oh, you always been lucky, but I haven't. My husband and I made conscious decisions on purchases, on houses that we bought, you know, because we wanted to make sure that I was able to be flexible, to be home with the kids, to spend time with my husband when he was off. You know, he worked long hours, but he had great vacation time, off holidays and weekends. And, you know, we never had to be one of those couples that scheduled time together, because when he was home, I knew, okay, he's going to be off this time. I made sure I didn't schedule clients, and then we spent that time together. So we didn't necessarily have to go away. So it wasn't luck. It just that there was conscious decisions. And when the kids was younger, we made sacrifices. You know, there were certain things we didn't do so we could stay in that position to have this, you know, one son in, you know, private school and make sure we had the transportation, but at the same time. So, you know, with family vacations when the kids was younger, might have been just going to see family. And then when they got a little older, old enough to enjoy it, then we could went to Disney and different things, but we prepared for it.
Yeah. And that's, and really, I mean, you know, I say, and I said this, you know, to my uni students yesterday, that's really what it is. You know, it is about deciding that you've got a blank slate and it's your life and you're going to live it and what's going to bring you joy, and then just working out the strategies and knowing when you know your values, then, and you understand money, then you make smarter choices. But leaving the money out of it is crazy, and letting life happen to you is crazy too. You know, like life happens, we know that, but when you've got a clarity and a purpose on what you're here for and what you want to do, and it's your life and you're going to live it, you know, we all know that you can, you know, women I think are such fabulous, you know, jugglers often, you know, we can stretch budgets, you know, where there's no money and have a real blast, because we get that it's about the people around us. It's not about the money. But, you know, when you get older, you know, having ignored the money and having overspent it and stuff can cause you real grief and leave you in that poverty street. So I'm very big about both, but I do think, you know, life is supposed to be fabulous. And if it's not, guess what? You get a new chance every day, every minute to sit there and make the decision that I'm not happy